Hi, I'm Leland, and you are listening to Main Pod Girl.
Hey, welcome to Main Pod Girl, a podcast made by Popheads for Popheads. Every episode, we'll be diving into all kinds of pop culture topics with some of our favorite artists and music commentators. I'm your host, AJ Marks, and I'm joined today by a very special guest. He's a producer, DJ, television personality, and Golden Globe nominated songwriter who's worked with some of the biggest names in pop music, such as Troye Sivan, BTS, Selena Gomez, Charli XCX, and Sabrina Carpenter. He's been the resident songwriter for most of the songs and musicals seen on RuPaul's Drag Race for almost a decade now, and was last week's guest judge. Welcome to the show, Leland.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
I'm very excited to have you here. So let's start off with what we're listening to. I got sent a song by Magdalene recently, and I started listening to it, and I was like, it's called DJ Jesus, but it's
Okay, cool.
spelled DeJesus. It's so good. It comes
Great.
from the lineage of like Lady Gaga, I want to say, but it's like that early electro pop Gaga that we love.
Amazing.
So
Did that just come out?
yes, I think it was
Okay, great.
last Friday.
I'll have chapters of going through New Music Friday or on my hike, on a Friday, going through the playlist. And then sometimes I forget, that music is coming out every Friday. So I need to go back. I was just on my hike that I do most mornings, and I was listening to Doja's last album. I'm still just as excited about it from the day it came out. And also I've been getting ads for her tour, and I saw her on tour not that long ago, but it's one of those feelings where every time I see the ad, I'm like, I have to go. It's one of the best shows. I was just is the festival called Outside Lands in San Francisco, and saw her there, and it was she's just one of the greats, and I can't stop listening to it. It is a very I love the choices that she made on this last album.
I could not agree more. I think Scarlet is still my favorite album of hers. I think that she's such an interesting artist. She puts a lot of effort into the visuals and the whole package.
And world building. I just love it.
The dance. Yes, the world building. The only thing I don't like about this album is the album artwork, because I think it's a nighttime, clubby kind of album, and I'm like I have the synesthesia, so I just don't see it as like broad daylight kind of vibe. But that said, she has a lot of alternative album covers.
Take your pick.
Anyway, going into some of your work, when I was like looking through it for this episode, because I've been a fan of yours, I think since 2017, 2018, something like that.
Wow, okay.
Like, I've been aware of you as a songwriter, as someone who always checks the credits of songs.
Yes.
For this episode, I was going through everything, and I was like, wow, a lot of your work is dedicated to projects that bring upon queer visibility, like Drag Race and Boy Erased and Love Victor and the other two. Love the other two. Do you specifically seek out projects that explore queer topics, or is that just the way the cookie crumbles?
That is just the way the cookie crumbles, which is so funny. And obviously I welcome it. I love it. I think what it is that the culmination of all my life experiences and influences and instincts, and what I find funny, and movies I loved growing up, and musicals. And I think it's just all of those things combined have led me to having this toolkit that really allows me to work on projects like the other two, like Drag Race, Love Victor. Yeah, and sort of just know how to navigate that space. And also, like, I'm gay, but I love that. I'm gay, but but and I work on a lot of different things. But I do think that, yes, I'm so happy to say that I think the through line of a lot of the projects that I'm so fortunate to be a part of are that they are like queer, or made by queer people, or for queer people, or for everybody, but through my lens, or what, so yeah, it is true. I mean, if you look at it, that's definitely true.
That's literally the word I had written in my notes, was like an unintentional through line. Just these past 20 years have been so transformative for queer representation that I think it's such an honor for any of us to be a part of that in any sort of way, or like helping that queer visibility.
Yeah, that is something that is, I think, an accident, like a really nice bonus. But navigating like the music industry and TV and songwriting is so difficult. I wasn't thinking about, the past when I started writing songs in 2009 and wanting to take it serious and wanting it to be a career. You're just trying to figure out your way in. You're not thinking about, I've got to do this for queer representation. You're like, I've got to do this because I want this to be my job. And it's so hard. And I never really thought about my queerness as a factor to either help or hurt me. I think also I just was able to, I think my things started to click around the time that I met Troye, and I felt like my songwriting started to become uh, competitive in a way where I was able to start playing with, like actually contributing things to mainstream and all of that. But just being like, oh my gosh, yeah, the things that I'm doing and not even thinking about, I guess, are queer, but really I'm just trying to pay my bills through music, and that's the dream, and then wherever I land is what I'm working on. But and with the other two, that was a show where, I mean, I grew up on Saturday Night Live and Mad TV, but I just had my, Molly Shannon is just like such an icon. So many, and Kristen Wiig
She's
and
the
Maya
goat.
Rudolph,
She
and
really is.
and uh, and so when I was connected with Chris and Sarah, who had just come off of SNL of being the head writers, I was so excited, and I also felt like growing up in South Mississippi for some of the songs really gave me the toolkit to execute this show in the right way, in the way that they wanted, and our comedy aligned.
The character of Chase, like the Justin Bieber clone, I guess. Were you specifically seeking out old Justin Bieber songs when you were kind of thinking about Chase's musical identity, or?
No. I mean, season 2, I think, was Jesus Fucking Slays. Season 1 was My Brother's Gay, and I forget what else.
My Brother's Gay lives like rent free in my head.
So,
I like think about it all the
so
time.
funny. I love, every once in a while it will have its moment again on the internet, which I love. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's my voice. Not singing the main part, but all the backgrounds and the the opening and all of that. But well, we weren't referencing any specific songs. We were more so just referencing because Chase, I think, evolves so quickly as an artist in such a short amount of time. And when most artists will do it album by album, Chase was more like song by song, hard pivots, which I think is so funny. So no, we weren't referencing like specific Bieber songs. I just think the energy around it was of that time, capturing that energy, and I think they just did it beautifully.
Yeah, it's tough for me to watch shows or movies set in or around the music industry, because I'm always just like,
Me
I find
too.
myself
I'm
like,
right there with you.
it's like illusion breaking, where I'm like, that wouldn't happen. People wouldn't react this way. They wouldn't do this. But that the other two never took me out of that. Another one example is The Moment by Charlie XCX. I felt like I was like so immersed in that and not constantly taken out of things where I'm like, oh, that wouldn't happen, or this would. I mean, there is a level of comedy where it's like, yes, obviously some of these things like wouldn't happen in this exact way, but
I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen it yet. I was not feeling well the night of the premiere, so I couldn't go. But hopefully by the time this episode comes out, I will have seen it, and I know I'm going to love it. But I
are absolutely
can't wait to use my AMC Stubs membership and go use it.
Yes, same. I have the A-list.
Yes, A-list,
so
A-list preferred, A-list preferred.
Going back to Troye, I mean, I've said it before on this podcast, but nothing makes me happier than seeing a pop star find the right collaborator, like Sabrina Carpenter with Amy Allen, or Selena Gomez with Julia Michaels, or Chappell Roan with Dan Nigro. Since you've worked with Troye countless times, I'd love to know how you keep the working relationship fresh after over a decade of collaborations together.
Yeah, I mean, well, one, we are genuine friends and best friends, and we like FaceTime every morning, right around 7:30, and not much has changed since when we chatted the night before, but we're giving our updates and everything. And I think it's just so sweet. And the big thing I think between us is that we care about each other as friends first, and then work that we get to work together is a bonus. We I don't want to speak for him, but I will speak for me and say that like I've got one foot in and one foot out. I love working on music. I take it serious, but I also really try to not take it serious and not get wrapped up in like the game of it and not get wrapped up in the industry bullshit that can surround it. I really feel like I am so lucky to lead a like peaceful and pretty quiet existence within the music industry. And I think that is something that he and I have in common, is that we don't seek out or crave like drama in any way. It's a very peaceful, collaborative relationship, which is so nice. And I think what keeps it fresh is that we are curious together. So our tastes keep changing and evolving, and what we're listening to and the music we're sharing with each other and the influences and what we're fans of, we have our overlaps, of course, but we also have very different taste in music. And so getting to share with each other our influences and getting to pull from, Troy will show me a band like the Radio Department and something that maybe my algorithm might not show me. And then I get to show him a Rufus Wainwright song that I'm just absolutely loving, or one of my like indie French pop playlists that we have no idea what they're saying, but I love the feel of it. And so I think just having that relationship where we're not trying to replicate anything we've done in the past, and we genuinely both just care about what each other are working on. I mean, he knows he should probably sign an NDA at this point, because he knows all the Drag Race tea and everything, and because he spends so much time at my place and at my studio, we're working on something for him one second, and then I've got to run inside and finish something for Drag Race, or he's hanging out as we're having dinner and I've got to listen to something and approve it for Drag Race. So it's just this very just sweet energy and sweet friendship, and we spend so much time together and just get closer as friends. And I'm really, really thankful for that friendship. And again, as you were saying with collaborators tend to change. It's really not common for an artist to work with the same collaborator for an extended amount of time. As a songwriter, you have chapters with people. And of course, I love building projects with someone. I'm so happy to do one session here or two sessions here, but I crave world building with someone. I am notorious for not only helping to write the song, but then also helping with whether it's asked or not, marketing ideas or release strategy, or I just love the whole process from inception to release. And so something I'm so thankful about with Troy is, I was a part of picking the singles for the last album for Something to Give Each Other, and the rollout and all of those things.
You did a great job.
Thank you. I mean, it was so collaborative.
I actually just saw a tweet this morning that was like, can we just take a second? And it had the screenshots of the three.
You saw my tweet. No, I'm kidding.
That was one of those like perfect kind of single rollouts where it's like the first song had to be the first song, second song had to be the second song, and the third song had to be the third song, exactly in that order.
I love that. It was just so fun. And the visuals, what Gordon Von Steiner and Stuart did was just unbelievable, and the whole team. And so yeah, it really was a special chapter. And to go right into the Sweat tour from there, or I think it was actually Troy's tour first, the Something to Give Each Other tour, and then the Sweat tour from there was just like the absolute best chapter. And I feel like I'm so lucky to have my sort of years defined by, this is a touring year where I know that I'm going to be going on tour with Troy, or this is a writing year, or this is one of those in-between years where we'll find something else to work on, or not pack our schedule and like live life and go to some festivals and go explore Copenhagen or whatever. So it's just a really nice balance. I also think we both love to work, but we both also love to not work and enjoy life and read books and go to parks and cook and all of those things. So I think I feel really lucky that I have found my collaborator musically, of course, but also just energetically. We definitely, we're just very compatible in that way.
I love that. And so you have different years, like touring years, writing years, release years, off years.
Yes.
What's your favorite?
I mean, they are all so different. Last year was, I would say, a writing year, and we traveled, probably 10 weeks, 11 weeks out of the year. We did, yeah, a big 6 week trip around Europe and just had the best time. We started our trip by going to Berghain and then just worked with a bunch of people around Europe. And so I love those years where we get to explore different cities that we haven't been to. Touring, I love just being present for that. I don't really have to find the good coffee shops. That's something that Troy is really good at every tour stop, but just trying to bring good energy and help where I can. So I love a touring year as well, but I also love being home. So I love a year or a time where we're just writing here in LA too, because then you really get to sink into a routine and feel like you've got that live work balance. So each chapter is very different, but I love that it always comes back around that, like, okay, we've got a touring chapter coming up. I also think it's not common for the songwriter to go on tour with the artist, and we're not usually writing on tour. We did write Talk Talk, the remix, on tour during the Something to Give Each Other tour. And so that's always really fun when we have something, a little project to work on. But really, everyone's just trying to stay healthy and have fun.
That's all you can do. Yeah. And so for this year, what is 2026? Like what kind of year is that?
I'm figuring that out, and I'm really not stressing about it.
You'll know by the end.
You killed that. Yes, I will know by the end. This year, which I love, is so much more undefined than previous years, and I'm really trying to keep it that way. I'm trying to see what projects feel really inspiring, and then also just what else feels inspiring as well. I'm so thankful that Drag Race comes back around. This time as we're preparing to shoot another season, and also working on the one that's currently airing. So I always love the start of the year because I start, getting to brainstorm musical ideas, and I also love the start of the year because it's Drag Race season. A new season starts to air, and there's something so special about being in LA and going to High Tops to watch Drag Race or having people over to watch Drag Race. I just love all of that. So yeah, I mean, as of right now, this year is defined by writing songs, working on Drag Race, and DJing, and working on like some special projects for myself.
I love that. Yeah, my mom and my sister have this like tradition every week where they lock themselves in a room and they just watch Drag Race, and no one's allowed to come in, no one's allowed to say anything. They're not going to pause it
Wow.
at any point.
That's so sweet. I think if you can share the Drag Race experience with a parent, that is just the coolest thing.
She knows everything about Drag Race, and they have their own like fantasy Drag Race.
I'm not kidding. She probably knows more than me because I exist in this weird bubble where I'm the season that's airing, I worked on so long ago, and then we're working on a season that no one has seen, and then working on UK. And so I guarantee you she knows more than I do, because for me, I'm moving from one thing to the next so quickly that I'm not going to lie, get scared to like, I don't really do podcasts about Drag Race because I cannot keep track. And then I also am like, wait, what has aired? What hasn't aired?
Right. You can't say anything. Yeah.
No, yes. But I think that's so sweet. I love that they watch.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, it's been the best. And they were really excited that I was talking to you today.
Aww.
So for the musicals, actually, I did just rewatch Kardashian the musical today, as like my little morning watch. And there's a part where it jumps to the future in space, which is 2025, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's really been that long. It's already 2026.
2020. We jumped to 2025. So I am the voice of Kourtney Kardashian in that one, and I really wanted to nail it. I think the Kardashians are so funny, and I have had interesting like experiences where I catered for years. And one of the events that I catered was Kim's wedding to Chris Humphries. And
Oh,
so I've
wow.
had these like crazy, if you watch the E special, when they pan across, you can see I look very different, but I'm definitely holding a tray of champagne. And I had the Jenner table that night that I was looking after. And so then to go from that to writing Kardashian the Rusical and voicing Courtney, it's just, and then we've, met them over the years. It's just funny to have those experiences, but that just comes with living here for so long.
Yeah. So my favorite Rusical is The Wicked Wiz of Oz, which is the one that aired most recently, right? Because at the time that we've recorded this, and at the time that it'll be released, the Rusical for
Right.
this year will not be out.
Yes.
And you're already two ahead because you have
Yes.
so,
Yes.
but the 2025
Yes.
Rusical,
The
which is
Wicked
the
Wiz
most
of Oz.
recent to air, that
Yes.
is my favorite so far. Just because it's a culmination of like all my interests. I had a big Wizard of Oz phase. I think when Once Upon a Time was doing Wizard of Oz, I like sat down and like read all the books, and like it was just very cool to see
Uh,
all these various iterations of it kind of come together in like a little campy little musical. I absolutely adored it.
I mean, thank you so much. That was such a fun one to put together and so challenging. And I loved referencing and diving deep into a chorus line.
Yes.
That was a really big reference for that
I
one.
played Paul in a chorus line, which is why I think I resonated with that little reference so much, is that I was just like,
Yes.
this is a culmination of every single one of my interests.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, musicals can take so many different forms. They can be big productions, or they can also be, like Joan the Rusical, where they're standing in a line across the stage, and each person steps forward and has their moment. And that's why I think there's really no wrong way to do a Rusical, and it's fun to switch it up
Mhm.
season by season and give queens the opportunity to take what might not be a big production Rusical, but take a moment and a song and really just deliver. I also thought the vocals on that Rusical were just the stars aligned with the casting
They
of that one,
really
because
did.
at a certain point, something that I always have to remind myself of is that it's a competition and it's out of my hands at a certain point. And I have to just allow whatever, however it shakes out, however the casting, but usually the queens know how to play to their strengths, and the casting can work out in that way. But with that one, it really did work out, and their voices complemented those songs so beautifully.
I'm curious, would you consider writing a full length musical one day? Because my butt will be in the front row.
Oh, thank you. I mean, yes, that is something that actually is one of the things that is defining my year, is that it's
Oh,
been like 2 years in the making. And I can't say anything about like what it is yet, but it's been 2 years in the making. We've got our producers, we've got everything. And so I'm starting to write this musical probably next month. And that will take me through, the next couple years. We'll see, but I'm really excited to do it with an idea that I'm so excited about, and collaborators that I love, and producers that I love. And so yeah, it's all kind of come together to where I can actually start writing this musical. And then we're always, once or twice a year, I'm texting Tom Campbell, who's one of the executive producers of Drag Race, and saying, all right, it's time to do a Drag Race musical on Broadway, or a Drag Race musical on Broadway, or I'm all like we all want something like that.
yeah.
It's just finding the time. That's really what it is for everybody. But yeah, separately there is a musical that I'm starting to work on, and then I really want there to be some sort of musical live element, or where someone comes to a theater and they get to see two musicals, where we have one musical and we extend them a little bit and then have an intermission, and then the cast does another musical. So we're always brainstorming. We always want to bring things out of the show to an experience, and Drag Race Live in Vegas at the Flamingo is an example of that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about all that. That's the kind of year this is, the innovation year.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
building. I love a year of building where I just can like keep my head down and work on things.
I always love when I'm working on a project that is really covering new ground.
Yes.
Like I love
Yes.
doing more episodes of this podcast, but I also really like working on projects of just things I've not accomplished before, not more of the same,
Yeah.
but really kind of new ground. So I'm kind of doing that this year too.
Amazing. I love
We're
that.
in this together. We're in this together. I'm
Yes.
excited.
Yes.
So I have a couple games to
Yay.
round out this
Okay.
podcast. So this first one is who you gonna call. So,
Okay.
Leland, I'm going to put you in 3 hypothetical scenarios where you're going to end up calling one of 3 people to help you out. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yes.
Okay, first one, you go on Judge Judy because you're in an argument with your neighbors
This is too real.
and you need someone convincing to be your defense attorney. So who are you going to call? Is it A,
Oh.
Ava Max, B, Addison Rae, or C, Allie X?
Okay. Okay. So I can either call Ava, Addison, or
Allie.
Allie. I'm gonna call Addison because I feel like she can defend me
Mm.
and deliver it in such a sweet way with the smile and the sincerity that she has and the kindness, and she can probably just say anything with that smile and convince Judge Judy to rule in my favor.
I
I
love
trust her.
that. Okay, Addison, you should be expecting a call sometime soon because it sounds like
Yes,
it might
yes.
actually happen.
Yes, yes, yes.
The next one is you're playing dodgeball and you're choosing the next person to add to your team. There are 3 people left to choose from, and that is Charlie XCX, Troye Sivan, and RuPaul. Who is joining
Wow.
your dodgeball team?
Okay, I think for the height alone, Rue.
Yes.
And I feel like I can see Rue winding up and like just like throwing that ball, but also
In heels.
in heels. Well, no, unless he's getting paid in sneakers. And like no, he wants like I want him to be able to move. Move around the court. That's some twisted ankles waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So not on my property, but I would love to see that. But yeah, I feel like I can see Rue in one of his like sweatsuits and like and just that height alone. But I also feel like Charlie would take it serious. And then I think Troye and I would probably get the giggles.
Yeah, just goof off. Yeah.
I think so.
Perfect. So the last one is you're on a season of Celebrity Survivor and you need someone to ally with at the start of the game. Which
Okay.
one of these X acts would be your first pick? Demi Lovato, Sabrina Carpenter, or Ariana Grande? Who are you allying with?
Wow. Okay, Demi, Sabrina, or who was the last one?
Ariana.
It's Ariana.
And I absolutely love how seriously you're taking this game. This is exactly how it's meant to be played.
Okay, good. I would say probably Sabrina. I think she can they all can. I just think she can do anything.
And she has that song Good Graces, so you need to stay in her good graces. Yeah, she's laid it all out there for you.
Right. I would just trust her to sort this shit out and just and I also feel like she loves to do like a strategy, and we would strategize together. And I also think she wouldn't break character when we're around other players. And out my A&R actually at Sony, my songwriting A&R Thomas was on Survivor last season. So it was very fun when isn't that wild? He was on it. He was like, I gotta go away for 6 weeks. And it aired already. And it was so fun seeing him in that context. I don't really watch Survivor, but I obviously did then. But I would ultimately choose Thomas because I know that he can handle it and he's already done it.
I love that. I feel like I would go on Survivor if they didn't starve everyone. That's the part where I'm like, oh, everyone must be so hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last game that we have is This or That. So this is inspired by those viral clips where interviewers will ask like random people in the street to choose between pop stars. I wanted to play this game with your own discography. It's called This or That, and I'm going to name 2 songs that you wrote, and you have to tell me which is your personal favorite.
Okay.
Are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
Amazing. First 2 songs, Charger by Elio featuring Charlie XCX and I'm So Tired by Love and Troye Sivan.
Wow. Um, I mean, I love both of those songs. I'm So Tired is a song that like changed my life, and Troy and I went over to Lauv's and wrote that with him and Michael Pollock,
Almost a billion
but I
streams
would
too.
say crazy,
Yeah.
but I would say Charger because I love a big swing of a weird concept. And I also am so grateful that in that session, she trusted me with that concept. And I love when songs are born from bits. And that is quite a few songs of mine. But my friends from college and I have this song that we wrote of like, my charger, da 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 da. I don't forget. It's to the tune of, I think, something from Les Mis. And so I had that concept, that phrase in my head, and then to put a story to it of, I think it was like you broke up with someone and then you left your charger at that place and you want your fucking charger. And so I think it was just really fun when someone trusts you with a concept, and then for Charlie to respond to it and hop on it the way that she did was so cool. And it's been so fun to have those experiences of working with Charlie directly, but then also songs like Charger, where she was a fan of the song and then chose to hop on it. The same thing that sort of happened with Addison and Charlie too, you know? But yeah. Okay. So Charger is my choice.
Charger
Sorry.
is your choice. I love that.
Yes.
Every time I listen to a song, just as a songwriter, I try to like reverse engineer it where I'm like, where did this song start from? And there are so many things where I'm like, I bet this started as a bit. I bet this started as a joke in the studio. Well, because that's how I write too, where I'm just like joking about something and I'm like, okay, that's it. That's the song. What if this is the song? And then you just,
yes.
And I love taking something and being like, how can we make this kind of like emotionally resonant, but also still funny?
Exactly.
Okay, Charger or Sex on the Beat by Adele?
Wow. I mean, Sex on the Beat.
Oh,
And
so
because
good.
it was written here at my studio at Laurel Vale Studios. So that was just one of those special writing sessions where Adela came in with such a clear concept and idea of the type of song she wanted to make. And no one was shooting each other's ideas down. Everyone was all for the weirder the idea. And there was just such beautiful synergy in the room of, we all knew that this felt right and it was the right artist to execute it. And the music video was just unbelievable.
It's kind of her signature song at this point, I think.
She's definitely going to have more signature songs. Like I'm so excited for her.
Yes, she is next. She is next. I met her recently and she was just so lovely. Okay, Sex on the Beat or Paper Love by Ali X?
Wow. I mean, all my collaborations with Ali are just so special to me. And I was working with her before I met Troy. And I think part of the reason why Troy wanted to work together was because I was like, oh, I've been working with this girl, Ali X, and he was already a fan of her. So I love Paper Love. I love other songs that we've done more, such as like All the Rage or a bunch of other songs. But I love Paper Love. That one, I'm pretty sure was like an Ali led. I think she had a lot of the idea already. So I'm going to say again, Sex on the Beat.
Okay, Sex on the Beat or Why by Sabrina Carpenter?
Oh, Why by Sabrina Carpenter. It was the first time Sabrina and I met and worked together. And she's so funny and she's so talented and she's such a superstar. That song came together really easily. I just love like celebrating her. And I love that song and I love that moment for us. That was the first of I think many we did together.
Sitting down and writing with someone and the first song ends up getting cut, ends up getting released, like ends up being one of your favorites. Like that is always so special, you know, that it's
so rare.
Yeah.
Like it's rare.
Yes. Because usually you have to develop that chemistry with someone first.
Yeah.
Okay, so Why or Miss Me More by Kelsey Ballerini?
I would say Miss Me More. That was a really special time. We wrote that song here in LA. Kelsey had just done a performance with Daya.
Is it Daya? I've been saying Daya this whole time.
You've been saying Daya for 12 years?
I have. Oh, and I love her music too. That's so embarrassing.
But yeah, there was some performance, I forget, where Daya and Kelsey performed together. And then I DM'd Kelsey and we were chatting. And then we wrote that song. And that was my first like number one song. and we wrote that with David Hodges, amazing songwriter producer who was in Evanescence. But to have that experience for myself to be able to come back to Nashville with a number one song, and they really celebrate you when you get a number one song there. And so for my parents and grandparents and people to come up from Mississippi to Nashville, just really sweet. And yeah, I just adore Kelsey, and she's one of my like favorite songwriters. We were at the Grammys 2 years, not this past year, but I think last year, maybe the year before, was the year where like it was raining, torrential downpour, and none of us made it to our seats in time for the start of the show, and we all were just soaking wet. I had tried to do this crazy smoky eye that no one will ever see evidence of, and it had just like, I took a big swing that night. And what I love, what Troye and I were talking about is like, I really like gifting myself and my friends with big swings that sometimes don't work, and they're not that long ago. Like, I know I'm going to make other wild card choices soon that will just forever live in like my Hall of Fame, and the smoky eye, it was one of them, Grammy night. But yeah, but Miss Me More, Miss Me More.
Miss Me More, or Love or the Lack Thereof by Isaac Dunbar.
Oh, I would say, I mean, I love that song. Isaac is such an unbelievable songwriter that like a lot of our collaborations have been me just like helping finish something or offering ideas or things like that. So Miss Me More.
Okay. Miss Me More or 1999 by Charlie XCX and Troye Sivan.
1999 because of the music video, because I got to put JTT, who was one of my first, crushes as a kid, got to put his name in the song, and also just so many fun memories associated with that song. And every time I see them perform it, it's so special. And on the Sweat tour, that song is when the riser would happen, and it was one of my favorite moments in the show, because the arrangement and the remix, it was just everything. So it's like this euphoric, crazy strobe light, confetti, everything, So yeah,
you're gonna love the moment. I'm just telling you right now, you're probably gonna see so many.
I'm sure I will.
You're probably gonna see so many parts in that where you're like, oh, I know what that comes from. Like I know what they're referencing there. Okay. So 1999 or Kiss by Demi Lovato.
Wow. I mean, I would say just because I adore Demi and I love that song, and I'm so thankful that Demi took a risk with us on that song and trusted us and trusted herself and trusted her instincts, and she's such a good songwriter. And yeah, that was just such a fun session. We just laughed and laughed and laughed in that session, and to go from like doing it as a bit to then being like, hang on, if always in writing sessions, I'm like, if this is making us laugh, we're onto something.
Yes.
We probably shouldn't change it. The lyric was more complex initially, and then to simplify to where it then felt iconic, to where and where it felt fun for Demi to say and to find the right tone on the microphone. All of that is just, it's such a fun process.
Wait,
so yeah, Kiss.
Actually, I have a question about that. That's where the line "It's not that deep."
It's not that deep. That's where the album title came from. Yes.
So did you know in the moment? Okay, that's kind of the thesis. No, it was like later on that I
think it all started to click for Demi, and Demi told us the album title at one point, and I was like, oh, that's just amazing when it happens in that way. Yeah,
it's so perfect. Okay, Kiss or Christmas Is Here by Cher.
Wow. If you had, I mean, I'm so thankful that song came out. That's amazing. How crazy is it to have songs with Cher? And also the coolest part about that is that it's with my like best songwriting friends. It's literally with like my group of friends, which is just awesome. I think if you had said DJ Play a Christmas Song, then I would go with DJ Play a Christmas Song, but I'm going to stick with Kiss.
Okay. Kiss or Louder Than Bombs by BTS.
Wow. I will go with Louder Than Bombs, because that is the first song that Troye, Ali X, our friend Bram, and myself wrote together. That's the first song we ever wrote together. And so that is a very, very special song, initially titled Hologram Hearts, that then when BTS got a hold of the song, changed it to Louder Than Bombs, and they just like brought it to life in the coolest way.
I love that. And I'm so excited for their comeback this year.
Me too.
Louder Than Bombs or Dance to This by Troye Sivan
Oh,
featuring Ariana
Dance
Grande.
to This by Troye Sivan featuring Ariana Grande. Are you kidding
I
me?
know, I
That
know.
that that Ariana Grande vocal, that I love the lyric of like bring those 501s a little closer. Do that shit we never do sober. We had so much fun writing that
So
song
good. And the
and
video,
working with the video is incredible. And
so
then Noonie
cute.
Bao, who I'm sure you
Mhm.
know of, songwriter, one of my favorite people in the world. And it was one of those crazy experiences where we wrote the song. We were at MXM, which is like Max Martin's studio, and we wrote the song. And then we were like, God, you do this in a session where if you start to hear a feature in your head on the song, you start to throw out ideas. And we were like, oh, no, the only person we hear on this song is Ariana Grande. And it was maybe 24 hours later that she was recording it.
Oh,
And she was also working there at the time.
incredible.
So
Yeah.
she was like one room over. So to show up this song, to show up day one, the song to not exist, then the song does exist. And then the next day to come back and hear Ariana's vocal was mind blowing. And she is just the best. She's just the best.
She
and,
is.
Yeah, she's just the best.
Yes, like I'm sorry, it needs to be said. She's the best. She's my most streamed artist of all time. She is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dance to This, or the Talk Talk remix by Charlie featuring Troye Sivan.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I'll say Talk Talk because we had so much fun writing that song, and it was based in a lot of truth and and a true story. And so it was really fun to write that. And we were on tour in Europe when it happened. And so it all just kind of came together. And to go from writing that song to then being at Coachella and hearing the whole crowd sing, okay, here's the plan. I want to fly you out to Amsterdam. I got a good hotel to fuck you in. It makes you feel insane. It really, really does. And for that song to end the Sweat show every night was just the coolest. So yeah, Talk Talk.
Well, also because like as a songwriter, you don't often get to hear unless you're in like a public place and the song ends up being big enough where it can be played in a club or a bar or a concert or something where you get to hear everyone sing the words back to you. It's just, that's insane. The Talk Talk remix or Fetish by Selena Gomez featuring Gucci Mane.
Fetish by Selena Gomez. That song was right around the time that Hideaway for Daya had come out and been my first song that I think anyone would recognize. Because, I'm sure you can relate, like as a songwriter, when you're starting out, people are like, well, what have you written? Anything I would know? And I'm like, no, bitch, I said I'm just starting out. Like, no, there is nothing you would know. But it's a part of the process. And so then to finally have a song being like, as a matter of fact, there is something, because for the first while of my career, I was having the only people that would listen to my songs or like that would take my song seriously that I would send to pitch were in Australia, were in other territories. And so I wasn't really getting any traction in the US. So Hideaway happened, Youth happened. I was just so inspired by Hands to Myself and that whole Selena album and what Justin and Julia had made with Selena. And I was like, they don't need us, but I would love to try. And so we wrote, I think, like 40 ideas. And the last one, or the second to last one, or something towards the end, was Fetish. And then we had to wait a while for it to come out. But my God, when it did, it was just the coolest feeling. And I'm so thankful to Selena for taking a big swing with us and loving the song. And the music video was just everything.
Fetish or Ignore Me by friend of the pod, Betty Who.
I love Ignore Me, and I love that song, and I'd wanted to work with Betty and Peter Thomas for so long. Special song, but I've got to stick with Fetish. I think we've hit one where it's going to be tough.
Okay. Fetish or I Got It Bad by Addison Rae.
Oh, I mean, so fun being able to work with Rami, who wrote and produced like Hit Me Baby One More Time and all of that. And I love Rami so much. And anytime I get to be in a room with him, he's just like the best energy and the sweetest and so funny. So many great memories with that song and writing it with Madison Love, who is just one of my songwriting queens and like partners, I would say. We did Rare together and we did Kings and Queens together, but Fetish.
Okay, you actually named the next song. It's Kings and Queens by Ava Max or Fetish.
Again, what a wonderful experience. And I'm so thankful for that song. That is definitely one of the songs that changed my life with how big it was. And one of my lyric contributions to that song was, and if I had a sword, it'd be bigger than yours. And was really happy that like, I was just in the right room with the right people where they were like, that's so funny. It's got to go in the song, you know, but Fetish again.
Okay. Last one, Fetish or One of Your Girls by Troye Sivan.
One of Your Girls.
Oh, I was going to say, I had to save that one for last.
That's so funny. But yeah, One of Your Girls. That song feels like the culmination of so many years of writing songs together and having that with Troy and with Oscar and with a special little synth contribution from Max Martin himself. And the lyric of that song, Troy really spearheaded the lyric in that one. And that song took some time to come together. It wasn't one of those sessions where you just show up and at the end of the day, the song exists in its final form. The song needed some time to sit with us, for us to like sleep on it, and for the structure to come together. And then for Troy to have the idea that he wanted to do drag for the music video. I feel like it was everyone firing on all cylinders. Like Oscar Gorez's production is mind-blowing on that song. The vocal production is crazy. Troy's vocal performance is incredible. And then how he took that song and brought it to life visually for the music video and on tour. I cried when I would see that song on tour, especially like Primavera, when you're hearing how many tens of thousands of people sing that song and feel what you hoped they would feel. So that to me is like one of the, honestly, along with Fetish and of course other songs, but like that is one of my like crown jewels, I would say, of like what songs are most special to me. And that is definitely one of them. So you nailed it.
I would say that as a crown jewel as well. I'm absolutely obsessed with that song, and I had Ross Lynch on the show a while back, and we talked about that and
Amazing.
That whole moment. Absolutely fucking incredible. Thank you so much for being on the show. That is all the time we have, unfortunately, but I am really looking forward to the guest judge episode that has not aired as of this recording.
Yes.
And I'm really excited for the Rusical episode, which
Here
will
we
not
go
have
again.
aired by the time this is released. So,
but it'll be the next day, which is so fun, and it's a really special one. I feel like this will come out the day before, but it's a really special one. The only thing I will say about it is like there was a special energy on set when that Rusical was being filmed, and you could just feel the crew and the producers and the judges and everyone, we all collectively felt like we were watching something special. And not to end it on a sad note, but I think it's important to acknowledge it, is that it's the last Rusical that my close collaborator, Gabe Lopez, who recently passed away, we did, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 Rusicals together. We did Wicca Wizard of Oz, we did Moulin Rouge, we did Wig Loose, we did everything. It's the last Rusical that we worked on together. So it's a very, very special one. It carries a lot of weight. It really defines a chapter. And I think it really just showcases like Gabe's energy in a really beautiful way. The skill set he brought to Drag Race transformed the show and the music of the show. And so I'm looking forward to like honoring him as well in this Rusical. But thank you for having me. This was so special, and it was so fun to just look back a little bit and talk about those songs.
Yeah, just queen out a little bit. I love it. All right.
That's exactly right.
Once again, thank you so much, Leland, for joining me.
Of course.
Keep an eye out for some solo music from Leland coming soon. As always, thank you to Noah for the theme music. And this podcast and all of us here at Popheads are in support of the fight for trans rights. You can check the links in the episode description if you're interested in donating or learning more. Bye, y'all.